Alright, so this is just going to be a quick lesson about reinvesting into content, why you'd want to reinvest into content, how to do it, and just some general tips about it. So let's just get right into it. So first off, why would you want to reinvest into content? The first reason is that original video content performs best. And so if you start off, you test a product with an ad that you put together from YouTube clips or something like that, and it's doing well, you could probably be doing even better if you made your own content, because original video content performs best. And the reason is that if you find a clip on YouTube or something, it's probably been used on the Facebook ad platform a bunch of times already, and so it doesn't have the same effect as fresh content. Now the second thing I wrote here is that it's unethical to use content that isn't yours, right? Especially if you're like scaling a lot and you're using content that isn't yours, you could get in trouble, and it's often illegal. And not in all cases it's illegal, but in some cases it's illegal. And so it's unethical and often illegal to use content that isn't yours. And so you have to be careful with that, and you want to switch to your own content just to be covered as soon as possible. Now the third thing that I wrote is more content equals new things to test, right? I was talking about I showed you the creative optimization strategy, and I showed you why that is the key to reducing your ad costs. And so the more content you have, the more things you can test, right? More scroll stoppers, more product demos. And so this makes all the difference. If you can test all of these new things, you can find ads that get a lot better click-through rates, better engagements, relevance, and that lowers your ad costs. And so I wrote here, it's one of the highest ROI investments you can make in an eCom store, right? Sometimes you can pay $20, $50 for video that you're gonna use to generate 5,000 or 100,000 in sales on Facebook ads, And so it's a really high ROI investment if you do it right, and it doesn't have to be expensive. So when should you invest into content? If you have a large budget, so let's say you have $5,000 or something to start your dropshipping business, in that case, you could create original video content for each product you choose to test. And if you do this, like I said, it's not too expensive, and this will give you the highest success rate for testing products, assuming that you're good at making the content and editing the ads, right? But if you're good at creating original content and making ads out of it, you'll have a much higher success rate testing products if you create original content for each product. However, in most cases, it's more convenient to wait until you're profitable and then reinvest your profits, right? That's why I call the lesson reinvesting into content. And so this is what most people want to do. But as soon as you start hitting some decent profits, right? So I wrote here, once you hit 1K a day profitably, so like let's say it's 200 a day profit or something, you should definitely consider investing into content, right? Like I said, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get content for $50 or less. And that if you're hitting 1,000 a day profitably, it's not even one day's profit to get a video made, and then you can just, that will help you scale further. And so as soon as you're making profit, you definitely want to consider reinvesting into content. Now, how do you do this? So I'm going to cover 4 different methods that you can use that I've used in the past to get content made without spending too much. So the first method is Fiverr. So you can just go on Fiverr, you can search for these type of keywords: video actor, video model, product demo video, product video, and you can come up with more similar search terms to find people who they have gigs where they're willing to record a video for you. All you need is a model who has like a decent iPhone or something who can record a video for you. Once you find that person, you can tell them what you need. If they don't have a specific gig, like let's say they only have I will be your model. Like it doesn't say anything about video, but it says something about model. You could just message them and ask like, hey, could you record a 2-minute video for me for $50? Most people will say yes, right? Like people who are on Fiverr are there to make money. And so just find someone who you think can do the job and then message them, tell them what you need, and they can make you a custom offer, even if they don't have a specific gig for what you need. And so I wrote here, it should be around $50 for 2 minutes of content. And so, that's just based on my experience. You could probably get it lower, but this is usually what I go for. And so this is the first method, Fiverr. It works well. You can find a lot of people on there, and it's very effective. Now, the second one is micro-influencers. And this is my favorite one personally. And so what I'll do is I'll search for influencers with a small following. Small following, because if they have a large following, they're going to ask for a lot of money. And so small following, less than 10,000. You can go up higher than this too. You can go to like 50,000 if you want, but the smaller, the cheaper it's going to be. So if you're just trying to minimize your costs and get good content, then you want to go for the small influencers. And then you just DM them saying, I'll send you a free product and I'll pay you $50 in exchange for, a video that you record using my product. And if they agree, then you're set. And then you just want to give them very detailed instructions, very specific instructions. Tell them what you want And so that way you're not going to be disappointed, right? And if you do this, people are going to say yes, they want a free product and they get $50. They have nothing to lose. And so this is a great way to do it. And just to be safe, just make sure to tell them, that you plan to use this content in ads. That way they don't try to sue you or something afterwards. And so just make it clear that you'd like to send them a free product in exchange for content that you can use in your ads, and you can pay them around $50. This is usually what I pay. And so this is a great method as well. And it's a great way to get content. Now, the third method is media companies. So this is just kind of this is like the lazy method. If you have a lot of budget and you don't want to do it yourself, you can just hire one of these media companies. You send them the product, and then they're going to record a bunch of different scenes, that fits your product, and make a good video for you. And so I have two media companies that I've tried in the past. So Tingly Media. I used this one for the course Case Study 2.0, like the next module. I used this media company for that store. I've used eCom Vids in the past as well. And so these are two decent options. I mean, personally, I prefer Tingly Media out of these two. It's cheaper, and I think the quality is just as good as eCom Vids, if not better. And so I'd recommend Tingly Media over eCom Vids if you choose to go the media company route. And if you do go with Tingly Media, just let them know that Gabriel sent you, and then that'll help me get some free videos. And then method 4 is just do it yourself. This is just get creative and do it yourself, right? Like there's a ton of different ways to make content. You can just order the product yourself, record content on your phone, record yourself using it, ask friends and family to be your actors or to record you using it. You can even recruit models on Craigslist or something, right? You just have to find a way to get content with your product. So just think outside the box, figure out a way to do it if you can't use any of these other 3 methods that I showed previously. Like you can get content made for free if you're creative about it. And so just a few more general tips before I end this lesson. You can often find the same product that you're selling on Amazon. And so this is useful because let's say you want to send it to a media company to get an ad made really fast, and you don't want to like have to wait 3 weeks or 2 weeks from shipping from China to the warehouse for the media company. And so if you want to get content made faster, you can find the same product that you're selling on Amazon and then use that to ship it to the Fiverr models or the influencers or the media companies. That way you don't have to wait for the long shipping times out of China. Just make sure that it's the same product. So when it comes to negotiating with influencers, you definitely want to do that as much as possible if you're trying to be conservative with your budget. And some people will even make the content for free in exchange for your product, given that your product is good, right? So if you have a really good product, you can just contact a bunch of influencers and say, hey, we'll give you a free product. All we need is a video from you, like a story ad from you or something like that. And you can do this over and over again and create a ton of content and then use the best content that you generate for your ads. And so that's a great way to do that. And then be very specific about what you want. This is the last tip that I put here. Think about what clips you're going to need for scroll stoppers for your product demo, showing specific features. Spend time thinking about all of this, writing it down, writing like bullet points that you want to, and then like bullet points of what you want in the content, and then send that over to the influencer or to the model or to the media company, right? Be very specific about what you want and you'll get it. If you're not specific about it, you're not going to get it. And so this is another great tip to get the optimal results out of your investments in content. All right, so that's it for this quick lesson on reinvesting into content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.